Hi, it's Heather with the Blue Hair from Cougar Creek Garden Center, and we're here in not so sunny Surrey today with Doug, who has kindly allowed us to come and visit his garden and see all the work he's done over the years. Doug, you said you've been here about 30 years?
30 years, yep.
Yeah, it definitely shows lots and lots of very mature plants. So we're going to take you on a little bit of a walkthrough, and Doug will tell us a little bit about how things got where they are and all that sort of thing. So we can start right now with what's right behind us. This is an absolutely gorgeous laburnum tree, also known as golden chain, and you can kind of see why. It goes all the way around us where we are right here, and if you're ever in Van Dusen Gardens about this time of year, they have an actual laburnum walk, which is almost like a tunnel because it's so lush. So yeah, well, that's a beautiful way to start. So let's do a little bit of a walkthrough and check things out. All right, Doug, can you tell us about this lovely guy?
Oh, sure. It's bluebells, and I love them because they come back reliably every year, and they seem to multiply quite well. So I didn't buy that many, but they're all over the place. I think squirrels might move them around. So they're definitely a nice versatile plant. Gives a nice color this time of year after the tulips are pretty well all gone.
For sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't mind when these spread out a little bit more.
No.
I can see if you can have a look around there all through the garden.
Yeah,
it creates a beautiful picture.
Yeah, I'm going for the naturalist look. So, you know, if plants establish themselves, to me, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
And it has to be a pretty compelling reason for me to, you know, want to fight that. I try to work with nature. Yeah. So if the plants like it there, I like it where they are.
We can fight with nature all we want, but we all know who's going to win.
Exactly.
That's right.
We just sort of hopefully enhance nature if we can.
So you were saying that a lot of your plants are native plants?
Quite a few are, yeah. There's some that obviously aren't, but I do like native plants, and some have seeded themselves or grown themselves here, which is again ideal.
Yes.
So that's perfect.
Look at this hosta here. That's a lovely version.
Yeah, I'm a fan of hostas. They're tough as nails. Yeah. Easy to divide and pretty versatile. I kind of like them. Yeah. And
even though they're mostly foliage, they do bloom.
Yeah, there's a flower. It's not anything that people are going to ooh-ah over, but there is a flower. Yeah. But you know, they have a beautiful shaped leaf, which I like. And
with all the different varieties of hostas, you can still get a really interesting garden just with foliage.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in the back, I've got a bed that's pretty well just hostas, different kinds, and it looks quite interesting.
So we're at the time of year where we still have a few tulips poking their heads out, but they're getting a little tired.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm big on you know, succession gardening, where, you know, tulips go, bluebells come in, bluebells go, columbine comes in, columbine goes, peonies come in, that kind of thing. So I'm okay with that.
That's definitely something to pay attention to when you're buying your plants, is what time of year they're blooming, so that you get the most of your garden throughout the whole season.
For sure.
Throughout the whole year, really.
Yeah, you don't want a situation where your garden only looks good for a few weeks, and after that it's just kind of,
Right.
So I try and keep it looking something interesting throughout the year if I can.
So more hostas here, which is sort of illustrates what we were talking about with the different leaves, different colors. And then behind us here is the most amazing Solomon seal with the lovely little white drops. This is huge.
Yeah, these things grow all over the place. You might see it, again, one of those ones that you can easily divide and spread around, and it gives kind of nice height. People like it. So
that's that architectural interest in the garden.
Try and get different height if you can, different leaf shapes.
If you have a look, you can kind of notice that this area is quite well shaded. There's some beautiful trees here that are really taking up the space, but that's good because it provides a really nice shady area for the shade things in your garden. And a lot of people are concerned that there really isn't much to do in a shade garden, but as you can see, that is wrong, because look at this. It's amazing. So we can do a little bit more walkthrough and have a look around. There's over behind me there. There's some sweet woodruff that's growing in there. Is that?
I think it's it might be an anemone, but I could be wrong. Type of an anemone.
That's really pretty.
Yeah, that one spread nicely as well. And this is one of my favorite plants. I think it's underrated. The columbine.
Columbine, yeah.
Just kind of comes out of nowhere and can handle shade.
That's a beautiful color too.
Yes, yeah, they come in a ton of colors, as you know.
And then down here we've got a really pretty dicentra. Bleeding hearts.
Yeah, and that's a formosa, they call it.
And that is one that you often see in the forests growing kind of wild. This is a hellebore, which is still blooming and blooming absolutely gorgeously. And it's quite huge.
Yes.
So hellebores are one of those plants that are going to bloom in the winter and early spring, which is a nice nice bonus for the gardener.
Yeah, they're one of the few in bloom early.
Up here, there's some really nice ferns. This is a licorice fern here. And that one we're thinking is a deer fern?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I love the black stalks on that.
Yes, totally.
That one.
It gives it more interest.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
All right.
Yeah, this area is fairly new as we had a tree collapse.
And this is, could you
that's just Lily of the Valley.
Lily of the Valley,
yeah,
right.
I'm not sure what the botanical name is, but grows quite well, handles shade.
Very pretty little flowers. Doug, you said that you just came back from Japan, and this is a result of that. Can you tell us about this?
Well, just, went to Japan, absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it. And the gardens were phenomenal. So I'm trying to recreate a little bit of the Japanese feel in this area. So I got the bamboo and the water feature, the little Zen garden.
So with the Zen garden, you use a rake just to create the...
I use a traditional rake to get all the stuff out of it. And then I built a little rake with 4 prongs. And then you kind of do the whole thing.
Right.
The dog loves to drink out of this. So
you have dog prints every once in a while?
But you're supposed to do it every day anyway. Apparently that's how it's supposed to be part of your meditation thing.
Part of the energy and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this amazing looking trunk leads up to, look at that gorgeous magnolia tree. So can you tell us a little bit about this? You say you planted this when you first moved here?
I planted when I first moved here, so it's about 30 years old. And it's grown this way because there was other trees here that were not looking good and dying, so I got rid of them. But now it's got more room. But it does its thing.
I like the shape of it because it does give you a kind of an interesting...
it does have kind of a Japanese feel.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so.
Right. Okay, so this is a perfect garden that will illustrate what we were talking about earlier with the hostas. Look at how interesting this garden looks, and it's mostly hostas. Not all, but mostly hostas. They're variegated ones, and then the plain ones, the bluey green, which is one of my personal favorites. And then the bluebells as well, just interspersed in there to give it extra interest. That's a long garden full of hostas, and they're doing a yeoman's job, making it very interesting. This bad boy, look at this, is a grape. And you can see how it has grown any which way it wants to. Pushing in the window down there, Doug says.
Yeah.
Edible grapes have some seeds in them, but Doug doesn't mind.
They still taste good.
As long as they taste good, that's all that matters. You get quite a few on
you get a ton, yeah.
And this is pretty fantastic. An extra home on your property. Tell us about your summer home.
Yeah, it's a summer house that we had built, and I got the idea from watching all those English gardening shows because a lot of the houses have summer houses. I thought, it'd be kind of fun to have one of our own. So it's built. It's as long as it doesn't have plumbing, and it doesn't exceed, I think it's 10 by 12. No permits are necessary. It's considered a shed.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of nice.
If only we all had sheds like this.
Yeah,
this is pretty special.
It does have a proper foundation, and it has a metal roof, which I need because the bamboo always falling on it.
Oh, I can imagine.
But no, it comes in really handy. And we have it decorated for Christmas, and we have a lot of.
Nice.
We come out here for glue wine at Christmas time, and it's my favorite place for. And
then you just open up the French doors, and you're in your garden.
Yep.
So in one corner of Doug's garden, he has an overwintering greenhouse, which is pretty full, it looks like. Can you tell us about what's going on in here?
Yeah, well, these are fuchsias that nicely overwintered, which is great. I stuck all my hanging baskets in here. Some of them were annuals, of course, but the geraniums have held up, so that's good. Jabera daisies seem to have survived.
Very nice.
Normally I lose my lavender and what have you, but it looks like it's done well in the greenhouse. And these are my citrus trees. And of course my Jabera daisies.
Right.
So they've all overwintered fairly well.
Yeah, they definitely have.
Yeah, this one citrus tree is losing some leaves, is concerned, but it's got new ones coming.
Right. And what is a great garden without chickens? So who is this chicken?
This is Bandit. Bandit's my oldest chicken.
How old would you say?
Ooh, 4 years old maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have 3?
Well, we've actually got 4. Well, actually we got 5, but I say 4 because I'm only supposed to have 4. But we lost one, so I had 3, and then but they only come in 3. So
okay.
Anyway, so we lost 2, but yeah.
So now we're going to have a look at this gorgeous, amazing, huge growth of bamboo. Starts from way over to the north and goes all the way back here to the south.
Well,
backwards.
Yeah, backwards, but yeah, it's north-south.
North-south, yeah. And probably 20 feet or more.
Yeah, it grows crazy. Okay,
so you have to tell us the story of how you got
originally
this bamboo.
This came from a restaurant that I used to work at, and when we didn't renew the lease, there was a bit of tension between us and the landlord, so we decided that we're going to take everything that we owned, that we put in, all the leasehold improvements, including the bamboo.
Good.
So I dug it up, stuck it in my minivan, and drove back to Surrey in it, and I did get stopped by the police.
You did?
I did, and she wanted to know, why is your minivan full of bamboo? So I told her, she went, okay. All right. I think it was probably, anyway, things were more relaxed back in the day.
Could be, could be. Yeah. But yeah, that's a really nice way to have privacy.
Yes.
So we also have a little different type of wildlife here. This is a beehive.
Beehive, yeah.
Beehive. And actually you can see, if you watch really closely, you can see some bees flying around right now. There they are. Probably wondering what the heck we're doing in their yard.
Oh, don't worry. If they get mad, they'll let us know.
Do you get honey from the hives?
Yes,
Do you get quite a bit? Or?
Quite a bit, yeah. I do have a bee guy.
A bee guy?
I don't actually do the work myself. So I do have a bee guy. He looks after the hive for me. And at the end of the season, he gives us a bunch of honey from
it. Oh, very nice.
People tell me the honey tastes great. To me, it tastes like honey, but I don't want to be a bummer.
So this is the compost area, as Doug calls it, sort of the engine for the garden. Look at the amazing soil on the left there, and that is all from compost, kitchen scraps, and that sort of thing.
Yep, chicken manure, and I have these bark mulch trails, which are great because they last about 2 years.
Right.
And then you can tell they're ready to be exchanged up because they'll have plants growing on them.
Oh, okay.
And then I use this for top mulch, and then I just get another load of shredded bark and repeat the process. So it gives me lots of organic matter to add to the things. And my wife works at a senior center that has a kitchen, so they bring me all the all the prep stuff.
Right, excellent.
And stuff that the chickens will eat, I get to the chickens, and stuff that chickens don't eat, like well, obviously eggshells and what have you, goes in the compost.
Right.
So it keeps out of the landfill, and
that's a great cycle right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.